Khabib on Islam. I want him to defend 5 or 6 times. Nobody can stay on top forever. 6 defenses over 3 years. And then he even talked about the window, and he worded it in a very good way. He didn't say window, but this is what he was referring to. He was just talking about, look, in life, you start out weak as a boy, you grow strong as a man, and then you go back to weak. So that's the way that it goes, but careers are the same thing. You come in and you get red hot and you cool off. And it was just fair. It was just more straight talk by Khabib. I appreciate that. And we don't have a lot of it. But you wanted to have a lot of it. And it's going to be an interesting time. Like, these things will interest me. How you get Islam over, how you're going to draw with him, and how you're going to move the needle. I mean, right, we're already well on our way. Islam Makhachev is in such a vastly different position than he was 12 months ago. But how are you going to do it? You're a very religious guy. Now, I'm just talking about one. You could have an invasion that could already be more on its way with Ankalaev. Had that decision been 1 point different, I'm just sharing with you. You get a crop of these guys. They're very religious guys, but they're true to it. It's not come out and talk and try to get credit, right? It's not the Jon Jones religion. They actually are. And there's a level as far as promotion comes that with a dullness there. That would be a very different promotion of deeply religious Muslim men than it would be a whiskey-drinking, fast-talking Conor McGregor. I mean, do you guys see the difference? You see the difference when you got the photo, and it's just of the boys, and they're about to have a nice meal, and they're happy, and okay, great. I mean, the picture's worth 1,000 words. You try to get something out of it, and versus Conor leaving the club at 2 a.m., right, with a girl on each arm. I mean, there's just something to it where one comes real easy from a promotional standpoint. One's a little bit different, and I will just be curious how that gets done. We're not there yet. But Khabib talked about, I mean, what a way to take pressure off your guy. Not to mention it was the truth. It was only the truth. He wants Islam to know. Ray gets so many athletes, and we can all relate to this, where we had our finer moments. We looked in the mirror, and we liked that person more at one point in your life, right? Yeah, you have these different moments, but it's very hard for people, and you see it in athletics very commonly. See a guy leave the NBA or the NFL, and the only thing he's got to look forward to is drugs and alcohol. It's extremely common. The people that he thought were his friends, all of a sudden they're gone. I mean, you hear these stories, but it's the same story over and over again. It's a very hard moment for that person. Well, it's a little bit different if your mentor Khabib is telling you this is going to happen. Hey, don't be surprised the day this happens. I thought it was mature. I thought it was interesting. However, I do want to give you the quote one more time. 5 or 6 defenses and then done. He then settles in on 6, and he says 6 defenses over 3 years. That was the part of the math I didn't love to hear. 6 over 3. See, if it was 6 over 2, I'm in. And the reason I bring that to you is no one is more known for wanting to be active and busy than Team Khabib. You know what? That's not a true statement. The number one guy that wants to be busy is Volkanovski. And I got to correct that. He deserves that credit. But it's Khabib and his team. They want to get him out there. They want to get him going. I mean, Khabib's got this business, as far as it pertains with Makhachev, with Volkanovski, going to go on Perth. And Khabib's already trying to find a backup fight for that night. He's trying to find a backup fight of Benny versus Dustin, just in case something happens with Volk, so one of them could get pulled. I mean, I'm just sharing with you, right? Like, Khabib not only wants to stay busy, he's planning plan B to make sure that his guy's busy, but then he said 6 over 3. 6 over 3 is 2 a year. Are we slowing down? If I was to be direct with you guys, I think that I'm looking way too deep into a simple comment from a man who is speaking in his non-native language. But he still said 6 over 3. I mean, this whole thing was a numbers game, right? We started at 5, we moved to 6, we're going to do it over 3. Why are we doing 2 fights a year? Why are we slowing down to 2 fights a year? And there's a lot of guys that did that. Floyd Mayweather, right? It was 2 fights a year. Then you'll get those Donald Cerrones that want to go out there 5 and 6. But should we be drawing something from that, right? No, it's a very relevant question for me. Why would it take 3 years to do 6 fights when every athlete is offered 3 fights a year? I mean, 3 fights a year is the most frustrating thing about this business for me as an athlete. I hated not being able to compete more often. I despised it. And it didn't have anything to do with that's where the check comes. Well, that's not true. That was, of course, a very nice piece, but it had nothing to do with it. I came as a wrestling background. I had 4 matches every single Saturday. I had dual meets on Thursday. I'm getting 5 matches a week. Over the course of the month, I'm having 20 matches. I come into the professional sports, which are supposed to be a step up, and you can't compete. There's nobody to compete with. There's no time to compete. I'm sharing with you because that's my opinion, but it's also one that Khabib has. But now Khabib, as he laid out the number for Islam, made it 6/3 instead of 6/2. Is he slowing him down? Did he misspeak? Is this the new system? A lot of champions, 5-round fights, 5-round contests, a little bit harder to do. Recovery would be a little bit longer. Those things are all very real, but either way, it would be slowing down. If you go look at Islam's career, even his time within the UFC, you do the average, he's doing 3 each year. So 6 in 3 years would be slowing him down. I can't let it go. I need to know, was this a mistake? Was this a miscalculation? Did he misspeak? Or should we expect Islam to be putting the brakes on?